My name is Lew Dobbins.
Good evening, everyone. From Newswatch 12, I'm Lew Dobbins, and here's the way it looks.
You know, from spinning the early electric Dylan records to, you know, hanging out in hotel rooms with, you know, the likes of Waylon Jennings and such.
He's worked with the biggest names in country music, like George Jones, Hank Williams Jr., Willie Nelson.
He's met the greats, the Waylons, the Merles, he's met these guys, and so for him to even be listening to what I had to say was awesome from the get-go.
He's seen everybody from country music Hall of Fame stars to, you know, the guys coming up, and, you know, he really doesn't treat them any different.
Lew Dobbins is Mr. Radio.
It doesn't matter what artist you bring up, Lew has something on him. Or not he can tell you the stories about him, or he promoted that show, or he was there and emceed the show and so forth.
Me, I think he was the best we ever had as far as in West Virginia that I can remember.
You have a person who's just a consummate journalist. I mean, that was his love, and that's what drove him.
Good evening, everyone. From Newswatch 12, I'm Lew Dobbins, and here's the way it looks at the 11 o'clock hour.
I first met him, he was everything I expected him to be. Nuts, crazy nuts. That's what I love about him.
Great fan of his on the radio. When I met him, I was kind of awestruck like any country boy would have been, and it was really, really a great deal meeting Lew Dobbins.
He had been a hero of mine before that, so I knew Lew from the radio before I started working with him.
His voice is very distinctive, and I knew who he was before he even told me his name.
I knew who he was the minute he walked in the door and said who he was.
Everybody knew him. Everybody knew that voice, and the other salespeople actually got a little bit jealous of it because people would know him and then they'd want to deal with him because they felt like they knew him. They grew up with him.
So everybody knew Lew. I mean, Lew has a name. Lew Dobbins is a name everybody knows.
So to meet him and hear that voice and know exactly who he was the first time was pretty awesome for me.
It would have to be, in my opinion, you know, one of the all-time greats in West Virginia broadcasting.
I don't think there's anybody in this time that is like Lew Dobbins. Lew Dobbins is, he is radio. He's Mr. Radio.
Lew Dobbins might have one of the last great American DJs, you know.
Lew has a trademark voice, you know, that you know, everyone remembers.
I mean, there's voices, and then there's this just Lew.
It was a broadcaster's dream. I mean, a disc jockey, you think, whoa, I wish, you know, my pipes sounded like that too.
Radio, and even when you're talking to him in person, his voice makes everything sound 9,000 times more important.
Lew's voice is one of those voices that's just, it's just dominating.
Very easy to understand. His booming voice was just, you know, just recognizable as can be.
And the minute you hear his voice, you know it's him.
He had this great energy, this great personality, and interacting with people, and if he was doing phone calls on the air or whatever, and he had the voice. You put those two together, and it separated itself and made you go like, wow, who is that guy?
I remember thinking that this guy is an absolute bigger-than-life individual. And I'd never met anybody like Lew up until that point in my life.
When you hear his commercials, it's obviously him.
Yeah, he's like Johnny Cash. You know exactly who he is. No faking Lew Dobbins.
Not bragging, Lew Dobbins is just as good as that right there as I am on film.
He would talk, if you even were listening to radio or in the studio, you know, you stopped to listen.
And the thing that I love the most is he's got so much character in the voice. And when you're hearing him on the radio, he just brings everything to life.
Good afternoon. In the national news this afternoon.
He just sounds like he's having a party. Every show on the radio, you want to be there. You're like, what's going on? And
I highly appreciate everything Lew's done, and I'm so glad through music that I've built this relationship with him. It's great.
Lew did it with an extreme amount of professionalism and fairness, and it's missing today.
He commands it in such a way that you believe every single thing that he's saying. There's never a doubt of sincerity in what he's saying, and you feel like he is enjoying being on the radio. It's not that it's such a job or a task, but that, hey, listen, the radio was made for me to come in there and put my voice on.
His voice and personality just resonated with people. They just loved him and enjoyed him. And
regardless of however many stations you listen to, Lew's voice is very, very distinguished and very recognizable.
it was fantastic to watch because he'd go out and meet people, and as soon as you see him shake hands, you can see the people's eyes light. This is Lew Dobbins off the radio.
I'm Lew Dobbins.
There's not one person that I know of out there on the radio that can draw your attention like Lew Dobbins.
As important as he is in his career, where it's taken him, he always takes the time to make you feel like you're special.
He is radio. He is radio as we knew it. Everything's changed, but Lew hasn't.
Regardless of where you put this, Lew Dobbins is a great guy, and he always will be. He's a good person.
A master at his field.
He had the great voice, had great personality, put the two together, right?
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He's going to transcend time, and to me, he's a big inspiration because, you know, like I said, he overcame all the changes in radio and throughout pop culture. And if he can do that, then what I'm playing, you know, this music can transcend time also. And if I'm willing to adapt or whatever I have to do to make it, you know, he's an inspiration in that respect. So.
And to me, I'm proud to say that I know a guy like that, and I'm proud to say that I grew up with a guy like that.
And I think that's what the reward is in saying, thank you for a job well done, Lew.
Well, this world is a miracle, spin round, spinning round, like a record spinning on a Lew Dobbins radio. It's up real slow and down real fast, don't ride a check and your tail can't cash. Sometimes you gotta leave before you want